Do you know that inflation can eat away at your savings and investments? But don't worry, we've got you covered. By the end of this video, you would know exactly how to protect your wealth and stay ahead of inflation. We'll be discussing inflation, what it is, how it affects you, and what you can do to stay ahead of it. Understanding this can help you make smarter financial decisions and protect your wealth. So, let's get started. What is inflation? Inflation is the rate at which the general levels of prices for goods and services rises, reducing purchasing power. When inflation occurs, the prices of everyday items like groceries, gas, and rent go up. As prices go up, your money buys less. This means you need more money to maintain the same level of lifestyle. There are two types of inflation: the demand pull inflation and the cost push inflation. Now, the demand pull inflation happens when demand for goods and services exceeds supply, while the cost push inflation occurs when the costs of production increase, which in turn leads to higher prices for consumers. I'd like to know, how has inflation impacted your spending habits? Share in the comments section. Understanding how inflation is measured helps you grasp its impact on the economy and your finances. One of the ways inflation is measured is through the Consumer Price Index, that is the CPI. The Consumer Price Index is the most common measure of inflation. It tracks changes in the price of basket of goods and services over time. The basket of goods and services includes items like food, housing, transportation, clothing, and healthcare. So, the prices of these items are monitored regularly to calculate the Consumer Price Index. Another measure is the Producer Price Index, that is the PPI. The Producer Price Index measures inflation from the perspective of producers. It tracks changes in the prices of goods and services sold by manufacturers. There are several factors that influence inflation, and understanding these can help you anticipate changes and plan accordingly. Now, here are a number of things to look out for. Number one, the monetary policy. Central banks like the Federal Reserve in the US, the Bank of Canada, or the Central Bank of Nigeria use monetary policy to control inflation. They adjust interest rates to influence spending and investments in order to help slow down inflation. The central bank would increase interest rates. This encourages people to save more and reduce spending. And when spending is lower, prices stop rising quickly and inflation slows down. Another thing to look out for is supply and demand. When demand for goods and services exceeds supply, prices go up, leading to inflation. On the other hand, if supply is more than demand, then prices fall. Number three is wage increase. Higher wages can lead to increased spending, driving up demand and prices. This is also known as wage push inflation. Number four is the global events. Events like pandemics, wars, or natural disaster can disrupt supply chains, which could ultimately lead to shortages or higher prices. Now, let me ask you, what do you think has the most significant impact on inflation today? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd like to know what you think. When we look at historical inflation trends, it helps us to understand how inflation has behaved over time and what to expect in the future. For example, after the World War II, many countries experienced rapid economic growth and high inflation rates as they rebuilt their economies. That was referred to as the post-war boom. Now, between the 1980s and 2000s, central banks implemented policies to control inflation, leading to more stable inflation rates. Then the use of interest rates to manage economic growth became standard practices. Now, recent global events have caused spikes in inflation rates. How does inflation affect you? Inflation affects various aspects of your financial life, and understanding these effects can help you make better financial decisions. Number one, it affects costs of living. As prices rise, the cost of living increases. This means you need to spend more on essentials like food, housing, and transportation. Number two, it affects your savings and investments. Inflation erodes the purchasing power of your money. This means your savings and fixed income investments like bonds may not keep up with the rising prices. Number three, it affects wages and income. If your income doesn't increase at the same rate as inflation, you effectively earn less. So there will be need for you to seek opportunities for wage increases or additional income streams. Number four, debt and loans. Inflation can benefit borrowers as the real value of debt decreases over time. On the other hand, it can also lead to higher interest rates, making borrowing more expensive. Can I ask you at this point, how has inflation affected your financial planning? I'd like you to share your experiences in the comment section. Now, let's explore how inflation affects your investments. It's a double-edged sword, but you can navigate it wisely. Now, on stocks. Historically, stocks have provided returns that outpace inflation because companies can often raise prices and maintain profit margins, thereby protecting their value. On bonds, fixed income investments like bonds can suffer during inflation. If inflation rises, then the fixed interest payments lose purchasing power. On real estate, property values and rents often increase with inflation, thereby protecting your investment. On commodities, investment in commodities like gold or oil can provide a hedge against inflation, as their prices often rise when inflation increases. Which investment do you think is best for combating inflation? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd like to know. So, how do you protect yourself from inflation? There are strategies you can use to protect yourself from the negative effects of inflation. And here are a few. Number one, invest in assets that outpace inflation. Consider investing in stocks, real estate, or commodities. These investment types would typically offer returns that outpace inflation. Number two, diversify your investments. Diversification can help you mitigate risks. Consider a mix of assets including stocks, bonds, and real estate to balance your portfolio. A diversified portfolio can better withstand the impact of inflation. Increase your income. You can also seek opportunities for salary increase through promotions or side hustles to keep up with rising costs. Number four, you can invest in growth stocks. Consider investing in growth stocks which have the potential for higher returns. These companies often reinvest profits to expand, increasing their value over time. Consider investing in dividend stocks as well. Dividends-paying stocks can provide a steady income stream that grows with inflation. Also, reinvesting the dividends can compound your returns. Number six, consider investing in real estate investment trust, which is REITs. REITs allows you to invest in real estate without owning property. They often provide high dividends and can appreciate with inflation. So tell me, what's your own top strategy for protecting yourself against inflation? Share in the comment section to help others. Lastly, understanding future inflation trends can help you plan and adapt your financial strategies accordingly. For example, technological advancements. Technology can reduce costs and increase efficiency, potentially leading to lower inflation. However, rapid technological changes can disrupt markets and create short-term inflation spikes. Also, globalization. Increased global trade and supply chains can help keep prices stable. However, disruptions in global trade, like tariffs or pandemics, can lead to inflation. Another is demographic changes. Aging population in many developed countries can lead to increased healthcare and pension costs, thereby impacting inflation. Lastly, government policies. Fiscal policies like government spending and taxation can influence inflation. So, you need to keep an eye for that as well. So there you have it. By staying informed about inflation, you can make better financial decisions and protect your purchasing power. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can never miss an update. Share your thoughts and tips and experiences in the comments below. Let's support each other on this journey to financial success. Let's build wealth together. Thanks for watching and see you next time.